No kiddos are allowed in my lab. This is for adults only. Viewer discretion is advised. My delicious skin, and this video is brought to you by Irish Spring. I get asked all the time about my skincare routine. People want to know, Gavin, what's your secret? How do you keep your skin looking so good? Well, I'll tell you, it's Irish Spring. Every time I shower, I use it on my face. No serums, no 10-step regimens, just Irish Spring. And it works. My skin stays clean, refreshed, and balanced. A lot of skincare products promise hydration, deep cleansing, even anti-aging benefits. Irish Spring, it just does the job. It keeps my skin looking and feeling incredible without the hassle. So if you're overcomplicating your skincare, maybe it's time to simplify. Trust me, Irish Spring, it's all you need. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the channel. So glad you're here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I've got this set up kind of weird. Yeah, it's a little hot actually. Going to bring it down just a little bit. Hey, for those of you who have been around a while, that is a sponsor that you've seen before, but I know that we've got a lot of new people, so I thought I'd run it. We like to take crime seriously. We like to take victims seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously around here. So welcome to the channel. My name's Gavin. This is a true crime channel. We like to cut through fluff. We like to cut through sensationalism. We'd like to get right into the nitty-gritty of true crime. I hope that is your thing. If it is, you found the right spot, and I hope you stick around too. Okay, with that out of the way, yeah, you're right. It's early. It's 6 o'clock. Normally isn't when we do my sort of thing, but there are two cases that I'm looking at right now where things are happening. And so I just thought it would be a good idea to do a 2 for Friday, even if that means that we don't get as many people watching because this isn't the normal time that we're on. We are, in this video, talking about the case of missing siblings, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan. This is a case we're keeping a close eye on. Boy, have we got a lot of missing persons that we've been looking at lately, and it is tragic and sad, and the gamut of emotions. It's infuriating. It's frightening. Just all the emotions. Well, today the RCMP put out a news release that I wanted to share with you guys and talk a little bit about what's happening in the case. Because in our Slack channel with my team of volunteers, Robin Bernardi said something I thought very spot on, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but basically they say a lot in not saying much at all. There's stuff that we can glean from these press releases. So come with me over to the old RCMP news website. This came out earlier today. Pictou County missing persons investigation continues with ground search this weekend. They are returning to do a ground search. This to me is an indication that at least partly they believe that the bodies are out there, which would indicate to me that they think that this is not an abduction. Maybe I'm reading too far into it. Maybe they're just covering all their bases. But let's continue. Okay, this was in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, May 30th, 2025, which is the day that we are recording this. It says ground search efforts are planned for tomorrow, May 31st, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan continues. In an effort to advance the ongoing investigation and locate Lilly and Jack, searchers from ground search and rescue teams and the RCMP will focus on specific areas around Garlick Road and the nearby pipeline trail where a boot print was previously located. I may just have forgotten. I do remember that boot prints were located near the home, but I did not remember the detail about a boot print being located near the pipeline trail. We continued to ask the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. And boy, am I glad that they are taking this very seriously. I have to say, I've gotten several people that have reached out to me through my website, which you can do by going to gavinfish.com and just clicking on this little icon right here. That will take you to a form where you can reach out to me. I read everything. I don't respond to everything, but I read everything. People have been reaching out to me saying, we take this very seriously. I live in Nova Scotia. I live near Lansdowne Station. I live in this area. I live in Pictou County. And we take this very, very seriously. It hurts members of the community that this has happened. And I think that the RCMP also is feeling that. I think that, going back to the press conference where the lead investigator, at least of the search part of things, actually choked up, saying, we all have children. This is a nightmare for all parents. I think they're feeling it. I think they're putting the hard work in. I applaud them for the work that they're doing. My only hope is that by continuing to talk about the case here on this channel and with others, news outlets, new media outlets, YouTubers, podcasters, I hope that this case just doesn't disappear until we have a resolution, till we find, hopefully, these two little creatures. I say that with all the love of my heart. Little criaturas here, right? That we find them alive and well. Or we find out what happened to them if something terrible did come to pass and they lost their lives. That's why when I titled this video, Are Lilly and Jack Sullivan's bodies any closer to being found, I put the little gulp in there. I don't want that. But RCMP is going to search for them one more time in that area, and I'm grateful for it. Let's just take a quick map time, shall we? This is where we are in the world. We're in North America. Up here, do you call this area the Maritimes? That was a new thing to call it. I had never heard that term before. I fancy myself as a traveler. For crying out loud, I've been all over the world, including in Canada, but I had never heard the Maritimes. Anyway, this is where they were last seen. This is their house. You saw me zoom up on it, right? This is Pictou County, Nova Scotia. The kiddos, actually, there's another, there's another map right here I can zoom out from. It shows a couple things. Like, this is the house. This is where the search headquarters were. This is where most or much of the search efforts have gone on in the wooded area around Garlic Road, however you say that. And then you can see it's very rural. Oh my goodness, right? Clear up here is, what is that? That is the, there we are, right over here. This is, goodness, I'm just clicking. Anyway, you can see it's very rural, very, very rural, and people in the community are feeling it. In fact, I have a video that I want to show you guys from CBC that is a report, and we've talked about on this channel, we've kind of speculated a little bit, if I'm going to be fair, about what happened. There have been rumors about, a drug party and stuff like that. I would like to share this news report with you, and then I would like to read from the news report itself. Now I'm trying to find where it is. I think I accidentally closed it. So let me play this, and then I will find the report itself too, and we'll go to that report. Here we go.
It's been 4 weeks since Daniel Martel has seen his stepchildren. 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing Friday, May 2nd.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry if the volume is low. I've turned it up as high as it'll go, so you might need headphones for this. Here we go. It's one more time.
It's been 4 weeks since Daniel Martel has seen his stepchildren. 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing Friday, May 2nd, after they wandered out of their Pictou County home. They have not been found after weeks of extensive searching the heavily wooded area.
Every day when I wake up, it just feels like I'm reliving a nightmare of May 2nd.
It's been 4 weeks.
The main feelings from sadness have just turned to anger because there's no evidence as of after 1 month. And it's really taken a toll.
On Friday, RCMP say ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area this weekend, focusing on a nearby pipeline trail where a blueprint was previously located.
I know that they're working hard and they're using every resource they have, and it makes me hopeful because that's all we have at this point is just hope.
A vigil of flowers and stuffed animals has grown in recent weeks outside the RCMP station in nearby Stellarton. Since May 2nd, when Lilly and Jack went missing, people here in Pictou County are still struggling to understand what happened and why there are still no answers.
Every day, almost, I go by the RCMP, and it's just so tragic. Just so tragic. You know, I just feel so bad for their whole family. I'm hoping that they find them.
It just doesn't look good. But I hope I'm wrong.
The warden of Pictou County says many people are on edge and children are worried about playing outside.
Oh, I think it's mostly a mood of anxiety maybe and frustration. They too can't believe that there's not an answer by this long and this many people looking.
The RCMP have confirmed Lilly and Jack were seen on camera with family the day before they went missing. Police are asking anyone who was on Gairloch Road between April 28th and May 2nd to share their dash cam or other footage with RCMP. Martel says every detail helps and could lead to finding Lilly and Jack.
I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of my life to find these kids. That's the only goal I have at this point.
Haley Ryan, CBC News, Lansdowne Station.
Okay, so, and I'm sorry about the audio there. It just was not very loud, but I did find the article that I wanted to share with you guys that this video was embedded into because there are a couple of other little details that I want to grab. So I'm going to come on over here. This is on cbc.ca. It says 4 weeks after two children vanished without a trace in rural Nova Scotia, the children's stepfather is still holding on to hope. Let's see. Let me just real quick. Let me see if I'm going to be able to find. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to cover some of the stuff that was just already in there, but we'll get to the important part. Okay. Lilly Sullivan, 6, and her brother Jack Sullivan, 4, have been missing since May 2nd when police received a 911 call from their mother and stepfather reporting they had wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station, a sparsely populated area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. The disappearance sparked an extensive 6-day search through 5.5 square kilometers of mostly dense woods and included upward of 160 search and rescue officials, dogs, helicopters, and drones. The effort was scaled back on May 7th, but subsequent searches have taken place, including ground searches around the children's home on Gairloch Road and underwater searches of bodies of water in the region. On Friday, RCMP said ground search and rescue crews and police will return to the area on the weekend, which is what we just found out. In a news release, RCMP said they will focus on specific areas around Gairloch Road and the nearby pipeline trail where a boot print was previously located. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather, has previously told CBC News that 2 boot tracks were found near his home, as well as another nearby. The RCMP's major crime unit has been involved since the day after the children were reported missing. Martell said the disappearance has taken a toll on him and his family. Quote, "Every day when I wake up, it feels like I'm reliving a nightmare," said Martell in an interview Friday in Lansdowne Station, nearly 1 month after the children went missing. "The main feelings of sadness just turned to anger because there's no evidence after 1 month," he said. Still, Martell said he has not lost hope. Quote, "That's all we have at this point," he said. "That's the only goal I have, is to bring Jack and Lilly home." Martell had, and these are the little bullet points that we've talked about and I've been asked about quite a bit by you guys as we have done these live streams. He said, Martell had asked RCMP for a polygraph test earlier in the investigation. He told CBC News he passed that test. So, quote, "You really can't point fingers at me anymore," close quote. RCMP previously declined to say whether a polygraph would be administered. And I would imagine that the RCMP, am I supposed to say the RCMP or just RCMP? Because they're saying it just RCMP, but it doesn't matter. The RCMP probably is completely tight-lipped about what it is that they're going to say, whether they administered it, whether he passed or not, right? He can say whatever he wants, I guess. Okay, Martell also addressed rumors there was a party at the home before the children went missing. He said there was no drug party the day before the disappearance. That's absolute nonsense. And then, it continues on. Here's one that the warden of the area goes, "I know older people in their 90s, they've told me they can't sleep at night." And that goes to the comments that I've been receiving from viewers saying we take this very seriously. Those little ones and all the little ones belong to all of us. We all feel like they're part of our family. They're part of the Pictou County family. They're part of the Nova Scotia family. We need to find answers. Members of the community have been showing their support for Lilly and Jack by placing flowers and stuffed animals on a post outside of the RCMP detachment in Stellarton. A couple of other things. Martell said police have retrieved surveillance camera footage in New Glasgow that shows himself, the children's mother, Malia Brooks Murray, the couple's 1-year-old baby, Meadow, and Lilly and Jack. He said he couldn't say where the footage came from because it might be important to the investigation. Police were asking anyone with dash cam footage or video along Garlick Road between 12 p.m. Atlantic time, I guess, on April 28th and 12 p.m. Atlantic time on May 2nd to contact them. Last week, a resident who lives near where the children went missing said police had collected hours of footage from the 7 trail cameras scattered around her 16-hectare property. RCMP said they have received more than 355 tips and have formally interviewed more than 50 people, with more interviews planned. The Mounties have said all missing persons cases are treated as suspicious until our own investigation leads us to determine otherwise. So lots of little things in there that we can talk about. Let's see. I'll just bring this up for a second, then I'm going to put the number back up there. But if you want to get my attention in the live comments, put GF in your comment, okay? And let's go to that now. See what you guys are saying. We'll bring up Lilly and Jack again. Okay, let me just zip on up here. Edith, she knows. She knows all about the Irish Spring. Okay. Nifty 50 says, we have a fish that wants to know how do they know the kids went out the sliding glass door and not the other door. I don't know that they do know that. I think that they just believe that. And they believe it enough to have said it out loud multiple times. But they've also said that they didn't hear them. They were in the other room, in the bedroom. They So I don't know that they do know that. Lisa says, hello to everybody. It has been a great Friday. Thank you. A happy hippie homeschool, says Gavin. Good evening from a fellow Pennsylvanian. Thank you for covering these precious babies' story. My gut is feeling like mom's silence is indicating something sinister. Was that something that I missed? Yeah. Family of the children's mother have said they were advised by police not to speak to the media. So it's possible. It's possible that she hasn't spoken because she's been asked not to speak. Possible. I mean, it's hard to say this because either way we're talking about something that happened that is horrible, right? These children could not have survived for a month in the woods. I don't think so. I think it's well beyond. And remember the app. Remember the app that I downloaded and showed you guys? It's called Lost Person Behavior, right? We went over this on the channel. It also talks about the survivability rate. So on the one hand, they wandered out into the woods and have perished, which is not a happy thought. On the other hand, they wandered out and were picked up by somebody, abducted by somebody, and that is not good. Out of the two, there would be more hope in the abduction side of the story. But, I mean, there are so many other possibilities. It's possible that mom and stepdad did something sinister. Yeah, it's just tough. The whole thing is just tough. Thanks for your comment. Happy hippie homeschool. Okay. Atlantic Canada equals the Maritimes and Newfoundland and Labrador. Cool. Very cool. Learning more about our neighbors. Our northerly neighbors. Okay. North Carolina nurse. Gavin, do you know how long the mom and stepdad have been together? The stepdad is being interviewed a lot, it seems, but not the mom. Strikes me as odd. So let me bring up our kiddos again here. The thing that I'm trying to see it from both sides. If there was a legitimate purpose in the mom, her name is it Malia? Sorry, I wrote it wrong on my little button. Malia Brooks Murray. If there is a reason that she left, a good and valid reason, and then police are saying, please don't talk to anybody, then it could be perfectly innocent. Now, Daniel, from that video, one of the things that I spotted is that he has been working with searchers, talking with police. You know, there were a couple of spots in this video that show him. Let me see if I can just scan it real quick and see. Not able to scan to it precisely, but there were a couple of scenes in that video that had him talking with police or searchers, I guess. Just one more scroll in there. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So bring it up for you guys to see. It appears that, I mean, it's possible that, let's just say, that they have divided efforts, right? They have a little one. They have like an 18-month-old. And so, you know, I remember very well. This is a long way to explain this, but let me just try. Years ago, before we moved to Pennsylvania, some after too, but mostly when we lived back in California, I was traveling a lot for work. I was gone between 10 and 20 days out of every 30 for years. I just traveling a lot. There was one time when I was in New York City and we were doing an audio show at the Waldorf Astoria. So there I was staying in and working in this crazy, like, I don't even know how to describe how opulent of a place that I was working in, when I got a call from Kimberly, and that call was that our son, our only son at the time, one of our 3 children, was rushed by ambulance from the doctor's office to the ER. He was admitted into the hospital, and it looked like he was being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. His blood sugar was completely off the charts, and as she was explaining this to me as I was working, and I had plans, I had plans as far as taking clients out and seeing shows and doing all the things that I needed to do for work. And I said, okay, I will be home as quickly as I can. I just need to get a cab to the airport. I'll hop on the next flight. And she said, no, because we were strapped at that time. We were working hard. We were digging ourselves out of a financial hole that we put ourselves in. It's our fault. She said, no, you take care of our family. I'll take care of our son. By the way, my wife is wise, always has been. My point to that was there are often very good reasons, and that's what I did. And with feelings of worry and guilt, I continued to do the things that would earn us a living so that we could dig ourselves out of the hole. And I trusted that my wife would care for our child and that we had helped care for the other children. My point is, perhaps Malia and Daniel are dividing up responsibilities right now. Tell you what, I will take care of the search and working with police. You take care of our daughter. It could be something like that. And I hope it's something like that. I mean, I'm not rooting for it to turn out that something nefarious happened at the hand of these precious children's parents, at the hands of their parents. I'm not rooting for that. I'm just saying there are reasons for some things to maybe look a little off and still be on. You know what I mean? What I'm not seeing, and I have said that in this interview that she gave, I'm a little suspicious of it. I have been less suspicious of him, but there have been moments where, and I waffle back and forth on this sort of stuff, but there have been moments of suspicion. But right now I'm feeling, especially looking at this video where he is working with searchers, and I mean, the woman in the orange there is the lead searcher. It looks like we've got an RCMP officer there over on the right-hand side. I think they've probably compartmentalized responsibilities for the sake of their child. That's what I hope. Maybe I'm naive. Let's bring back the kiddos. Isabel says, I feel like the mom might have done something with the kids without telling dad. Again, completely possible. But I hope not. Carmel Alvarado says, the timeline does not match and what the parents say. What I find interesting that the biological father has not appeared. I have wondered about the biological father. I have wondered if there has never been a relationship with the biological father. It kind of seems, I mean, if they have the same biological father, that seems unlikely. Or if he is passed away, or if he's completely given up his parental rights, or if he's in prison. I don't know. I've heard all sorts of rumors, but I don't know. But that's a good comment. Michelle says, the RCMP, the Mounties. Hey, it's good to see Guilty of Crime here. Glad you are here. Good to see you, Jay. Yeah, you got to put GF in your question if you want me to see it. And just doing GF in a second comment doesn't help me see it, okay? So help me out. Again, scrolling. Just Ducky says if they were taken, they might not still be together. So keep a lookout for each of them instead of two small children together. What a great comment. That had never even crossed my mind. Great comment, guys. Let's real quick take a look at this. Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers is 800-222-8477. 800-222-TIPS. That is who you can call. It's also very easy to look up the RCMP's telephone number. I think I might have it for you on this page. Doesn't say it on this news release. However, there is a news release from earlier that I can find that does have the number on it. Let me just... Yeah. Oh, no. Where is it? There it is. Okay. RCMP, you can call their crime unit at 902-896-5060. Or you can call Crime Stoppers, 800-222-8477. But great comment. My goodness, great comment. If they were taken, they might not be together. You might see one, not both. Very good. My thing refreshed. Let me scroll back up. We're going to end up missing a whole bunch of... I'm going to miss a bunch of comments. Sorry about that. What's going on with the mom? I don't know. We've talked about that a little bit. Not sure. Lisa says, it's possible, I guess, but I wouldn't want my ex speaking for me so much. Yeah, good comment. Undercover Mother says, Gavin, the reservation needs to be searched. I do understand that Malia is part of a indigenous people that I believe, going back with her family, she is on the reservation. I would imagine that there has been search efforts, okay? I don't know how it is in Canada. In the United States, there are agreements. The great example that I've brought up is Onondaga Reservation in northwestern New York, outside of Buffalo. The Lewiston PD goes on and works with the reservation police all the time. So I would imagine that has happened. I sure hope. Of course, RCMP is famously tight-lipped. Let's bring the kiddos back up. Ernestine says, Gavin, just finished watching CTV News here in Nova Scotia. They're resuming the search tomorrow along the pipeline area of Garlick Road. They must have another tip that's leading them there. Indeed. Yep, that's what we showed in the very beginning. Thanks for checking in, Ernestine, and glad somebody from Nova Scotia is watching. Thank you very much. Gavin, do you know if cadaver dogs are being used? I only know that dogs are being used. I don't know if they are. I would imagine at this point they would be, but I do not know. Lucky 13 Gaming says, Gavin, I'm a mom and I know for sure I would not have left the area and no one could keep me quiet. Yeah. Nurav, Gavin, do you think they searched far out enough? According to the app, I should have plugged this in and had it up and ready to show you guys, but we went through this together. When we go through the categories, if I go into children, ages 4 to 6, they, in the plan, it has an area of distance traveled. Let me see if I can get that up for you, okay? So in 25% of cases, the distance traveled is 0.2 of a kilometer. 50% of cases, it's 0.6 of a kilometer. 75% of cases, 1.5, within 1.5 kilometers, and 95% of cases within 6.5 kilometers. So it is. They said that they went out 5.5 kilometers. It's 5.5 square kilometers, right? 5.5 square kilometers. What's the square root of 5.5? Anyway, maybe they haven't gone out far enough. Maybe they haven't. According to the app, they can go out pretty far. Or maybe they're just reporting it weirdly. 5.5 square kilometers. I don't know what the square root of 5.5 is. That would only be a square. What's the square root of 5.5? So, no, don't solve. So it's approximately 2.3 kilometers long by 2.3 kilometers wide if it's a square. And this app is saying they can go out as far as 6.5 kilometers, a child 4 to 6. Maybe they have not searched out far enough. But they're professionals. I mean, I don't want to second guess what they're doing. They're professionals. They and they all seem invested in finding these children. So yeah. Lisa says he's like the loosest lipped person just blabbering away constantly to the media. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Words bloom, Gavin. It's being said here in Canada that the boyfriend passed his polygraph test. That is what is reported that he said. We read that earlier. Did the mom? Was she polygraphed? I have not read anything about that in any report. There are all sorts of rumors, but I haven't seen it in any official report. Ernestine says Daniel has publicly said that he passed the polygraph and he confirmed that there was no drug party the night of May 1st. Indeed. Indeed. That's what he says. And, I don't know what the source of that rumor is that there was a drug party. I've heard neighbors said it, but I don't know what the real source is. Therefore, if there is no source to it, I can't. I remain skeptical. Lisa says, nah, I would say he could take care of the baby and I would stay and work with the police and stuff because they aren't his kids. She's the bio mom. Okay. I'm just throwing out possibilities, but I appreciate the respectful tone. Lisa says, I'm married and have 2 kids outside the marriage, and we share a 3rd child just like these 2. I would be there. He would be taking care of our daughter. Okay. KP says, Gavin, sometimes I see 4 kids in a picture. Do you know about the 4th child? I believe there are 5. I believe that he has 2 children from a previous relationship. She has 2 children from a previous relationship, and then together they have the little baby. I don't think it's necessary to mention the baby's name. The poor child does. But, yeah, I believe that's the family. Oh, Tanny W says, Gavin, in Canada we call the provinces on the East Coast, so on the Atlantic Ocean, the Maritimes. That's cool. I think that's cool. Nifty 5050 says, I think if they decided he would handle the search and she would handle the daughter, she would have not cut off all communication with him. We did see a report where he said that, right? That's right. Yeah. So maybe I'm up in the night. Okay, a couple more comments. And guys, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to kind of cut this short because we have another live stream at 7:30 tonight. We are going to be welcoming back to the channel our friend. Let me see if I can find a picture of her here real quick. Our friend Elizabeth Jones from Hillbilly Crime. And we are going to be talking about the case of Kevin Mullins and a couple other things. So please come back at 7:30. All right, bringing back over to here. Let's bring these guys up. Okay. Yeah. Oh, just refreshed again. So I think that broke. I am no mathematician, but 5.5 square miles is not 5.5 miles by 5.5 miles. Is it? No, because if you have 3 feet by 3 feet, that is 9 square feet. I'm no mathematician. Check me. And you are. So that's good. A couple more before we go. Let's just see. The SUV parked down the road the day they went missing. They did search that. I think it was a Kia Sportage. And Ernestine says they searched 5 kilometers squared. I've read square kilometers, not kilometers squared. But maybe, I mean, is this a lost in translation between us United States folks? We're all North Americans, but us in the United States and y'all in Canada. No, it says 5.5 square kilometers, not 5.5 kilometers squared. But okay, doesn't matter. They've searched a lot. Hopefully, they have searched enough, and I have confidence in the RCMP at this point that they have. Okay, guys, remember we're going to be back. It's a twofer tonight, so we're going to be back at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, which is in about 44 minutes, to talk about the Kevin Mullins case with our pal Elizabeth over at Hillbilly Crime. Before we go, let me just remind you, you can always contact me over here on the website by clicking on that little thing. We've got a growing little community, the Fish Tank, on Facebook. It's a fun little community. If you go to gavinfish.com, then click on this little icon up in the corner, that will take you to the Fish Tank. We're over 4,500 members now. What are we at? 4,587, coming up on 4,600 members, which is pretty fun. We just like to talk about all the cases that we discuss, and sometimes I get case suggestions over there. It's awesome. So come on over there. And with that, I guess we'll call it. I will bid you adieu until 43 minutes from now. Okay? Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.